All right, look, on my channel, we get straight to the content. I know I need a haircut. Mind your business, bro. I'm going to get the haircut, bro. If y'all familiar with my content, I just came home from Cali, and these barbers are like celebrities. So I had to schedule an appointment. My barber was booked. Right now, my mustache look crazy. But anyway, so I told you I would come back with another video because I wanted to touch more on the subject from my last video. Meaning, I tried to warn y'all about Marc Lamont Hill and his attitude and his energy. If you didn't see the last video, the way Marc Lamont Hill was talking about the black woman that's the Jacksonville Jaguars beat reporter or journalist, the way how she had like kind words for the coach, and Marc Lamont Hill was just like, no, like you ain't there to do that. And he's trying to give us insight into like journalism, like quick insight. So he's like, oh well, like we agree on this and we agree on that. Like, yo, bro, if it's not in a contract, it don't matter what nobody agree with. Anything is subject to change. But like in my walks of life, I have always known or ran into guys like Marc Lamont Hill, so I'm very familiar with that energy. So in my old videos, you go back, and some of them did really good. People would be calling me a hater and this and that. You might have just not ran across a Marc Lamont Hill type of guy. Not to be like a toxic guy, but like, so when you in the, how can I say this? Like when you in the game, let's say you're a single man, you getting women, right? Real dudes that get women look and judge other dudes how they get drums. If you don't understand what I'm saying something right now. So like, it's more respectable for a real elite sniper that's single to get a woman naturally, organically, not faking to be something, not pretending to be something. Dudes like Marc Lamont Hill, especially when I was out and about, because I'm retired. These dudes try to get women with intellect and intense conversations for the woman, but it's not really for the man. But a part of his game is his education. So they like a snake oil salesman type energy. I always had that type of I always felt those type of vibrations from Marc Lamont Hill, bro. I'm here to tell y'all that. So how critical he was, and like I said, he didn't disrespect the woman. But him being so critical on a woman, especially if you follow sports is chaotic and toxic when it comes to the coverage of it. Joe Buttons touched on it, like the TNT broadcast with Charles Barkley and Shaq and Kenny Jeff Smith and Ernie Johnson. Like more time, like 8 times out of 10, they was being disrespectful to like NBA players. You know what I mean? Y'all already know the history of Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. They've been being disrespectful, and the coverage of sports started getting so disrespectful. I mean, I'm glad that it happened, especially in like my lifetime, but like now I don't got to go to ESPN. I don't got to go to Fox Sports. Now I could go to the All the Smoke podcast or the 520 podcast, or I could listen to like individual players speak about the game from I don't want to say I want to hear shit from an analytical perspective, not a hating perspective. Does that make sense? So when it comes to sports media, it's always hateful. And I get tired of that. So like what that lady said, like in the beginning of the football season, no one had the Jacksonville Jaguars doing anything for real. People have been saying Trevor Lawrence is low-key turning into a bust. They got a brand new head coach. So I know it's cool and like fans do it, and I'm a fan, but I'm not that type of fan. But I know it's cool to say, hey, your team sucks, my team rocks. Like I understand it, and I understand like from a social media perspective, if you bash something, you're more likely to get clicks than when you're positive. I get it, right? It's nothing wrong with saying, hey, we lost a playoff game, but like, yo, you did a good job. We wasn't even supposed to be in the playoffs. So the future looks promising right now. Like, keep your head up. We'll get it back next year. It is nothing wrong with it. That's not even, so the kids say glaze. That's not even glaze. That's an actual realistic perspective. Marc Lamont Hill was so caught up on like, well, you could have gave the opportunity to another journalist to ask the question. And I was so glad that Joe and Ish shut down Ice and Marc Lamont Hill's raccoon activity, because I watch pressers. Not all of them. I have watched a lot. You know how many times the player bypassed a question? Mad times on a press conference. Or you know how many times in a press conference all the journalists asked the same question, and Joe brought this up. 5 people asking Aaron Rodgers the same thing. Now, Marc Lamont Hill, because he's in that industry, he will say, "Oh, that's good journalistic work." No, it's not. No, it actually isn't. It's just repetitive nonsense. And like, no, I'm not a journalist and I'm not in that industry, but I follow journalists. You know what I mean? But like, let me ask y'all this question. You don't got to be a chef to be able to tell if the food good or bad, right? You don't got to be a journalist to know, all right, what this is. I don't know what this is. This is just people asking questions. Yeah, they're journalists, but this is like BS. So Marc Lamont Hill is defending. Marc Lamont Hill would rather journalists talk to players, and let's say it's 15 journalists. He would rather all 15 ask the same question, not get an answer from the player at all, possibly annoying the player. Now he don't want to answer stuff for the rest of the season, instead of a journalist just having a human interaction with the player. A lot of time these players are not human to us. So when you see a head coach have a human interaction with a person, and then you look at the backstory of the coach, Coach Cohen, he lost his mom. I think he lost his mom like a couple months ago. So when you see him, his face getting like he looked like a little boy, like, and a grandma's talking to him. When you see him make that face, it's coming from something. He lost his mom. The cast don't bring that up. And I'm, like I said, Joe Buttons and Ish did a really good job coming at Ice and Marc Lamont Hill. But once again, we have an example. The cast doesn't even do their research, so they don't even know that Cohen had recently kind of lost his mom. I believe like in the past couple of months, maybe. I'm not sure. Now I'm talking about I'm not sure. But like, that is a thing. So it's like, I'm a nerd. And as you subscribe to this channel, yeah, I talk about the Joe Buttons. I'm going to talk about random stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like, I believe in like energy. I believe in like the universe and stuff like that. I don't know why. And they said that woman had her job for like 20 years. I don't know why in that moment she decided to have those words for that coach. But who knows if his mom might have embodied that black woman to get that message to her son, because she know her son's heart. I believe the universe works like that, bro. It's nothing wrong. If you want to bash your team, it's cool. I'm a Cowboys fan. I'd be sick with some of the stuff they do. But there's nothing wrong with being realistic. Everything don't got to be led with hate and anger. Damn, I need a haircut. I'm looking rough. I'm not doing another video till I get a haircut. I ain't going to lie. And then I'm going to have to get him to bump me up. And then the haircut going to be like $70. But I need a fade back. I didn't know my beard grew this high. But anyway, I'm off topic. Let me get away from the side quest. But yeah, I just wanted to touch bases with y'all because like, I know we get annoyed with like, oh, new year, new me. But like, yo, every year gives you an opportunity to like do better or do different. Challenge yourself. Let's do that this year. As people who consume content, me and you, if you're watching this video, you consume a lot of content like me. Let's challenge these people that give us these podcasts. Like I said, I've been showing a lot of love and watching a lot of content of the people that cover it. That might need to be the way for a while until these content creators really put their best foot forward. Joe Button, I said this was like maybe 2 months ago. I believe he has an Ian Schwartzman problem. Remember I said this. I believe Joe Button right now, as of right now, has an Ian Schwartzman problem. I'm going to wait to go more deep into that. Maybe I'll do it after I get a cut. Like, subscribe, turn your notifications on. I'm out, bro.